Welcome to What's Up, Doc, a podcast by Miramont Wellness Centers in Fort Collins, Colorado. Hosted by Dr. John L. Bender, MD and CEO of Miramont Wellness Centers. Our mission at Miramont is to empower your community and yourself to achieve healthcare and wellness aspirations anywhere in life.
Hello, I'm Dr. John Bender.
And I'm Janessa Visconti.
And this is What's Up, Doc. Welcome again to our podcast segment. Last time, we left off visiting about the partially hydrogenated oil, the invention of the 1940s that allowed massive amounts of food to be prepared that had these incredibly long shelf lives. But as we discussed last time, preserved foods are like dead foods, just like preserved bodies are dead bodies. They are not as healthy for us. We were also discussing that the more perishable the food, the healthier the food. We gave the example of raw beef, chicken, and fish on a countertop. That fish is going to spoil the first, as opposed to the beef, which you can actually hang in a locker and age for days at room temperature without it spoiling. And we started discussing the differences in the fats between those foods. Beef, generally regarded as less healthy than chicken, which is less healthy than fish. Beef fat has to be carved off because it's a solid at room temperature. Chicken fat is more gelatinous. It's kind of half solid, half liquid. And fish fat, we don't even call fat. We call it fish oil because it's a liquid at room temperature and is regarded the healthiest of those three pieces of meat. Let's go back to fats in general. A good rule of thumb is that a fat that is a solid at room temperature is never going to be as healthy as a fat that's a liquid at room temperature. So which is healthy, butter or margarine, right? The age-old dichotomy. What do you think, Janessa?
Margarine.
Well, it turns out they're both not that great for you because they're both solids at room temperature. So when people ask me which one's better, I say, don't do either one. Try to find an alternative. In general, liquid oils like avocado oil, canola oil, sesame oil are going to be healthier. You don't want to overconsume anything, though. All things in moderation. Most Americans are getting up to 700 calories a day just from fat. There is 100 calories of fat in just a tablespoon of oil, even a liquid oil. So too much avocado oil, not healthy. Too much canola oil is not healthy. But in general, you're going to want that instead of Crisco or lard. Another important consideration with fats is that we are also making triglycerides and LDL, the bad cholesterol, from animal fats. So if you are getting too much animal fat in your diet, we're going to see a worsening of the so-called LDL or lousy DL cholesterol. That is generally not a concern from animal fats. We are animals, however. We have a liver, and if you're eating a lot of partially hydrogenated oils, that's going to confuse your liver and may cause you to make more LDL cholesterol, even if you're not consuming a lot of LDL cholesterol. Another important consideration with fats is that the LDL, or the so-called animal fat cholesterol, is really the most toxic to our cells and to the lining. So when we look at why people have heart attacks, you really want to get that LDL cholesterol under 100 or preferably under 70. Now, did you know, Janessa, that when we're born, our LDL cholesterol is only 35? And if you go to the Horn of Africa, where people don't eat a lot of beef, they may be eating other things, maybe more plant-based, their LDL cholesterol rarely is above 70, and they have a very low prevalence of cardiovascular disease. Now, if someone from Somalia or Ethiopia or Eritrea comes to the US and migrates, within a couple generations, their LDL cholesterol is just as bad as everyone else's. So a lot of this is diet-related, not so much genetic, and it goes back to what we're eating. But I believe personally that the healthiest LDLs are going to be between 35 and 70. So even if you're told, well, you're low risk, LDL under 130 is okay, don't buy that. Try to get your LDL under 70, look at those animal fats, and try to get them out of your diet. Now, the big food manufacturers have become wise that they're individuals like John Bender talking to folks and telling them about the evils of partially hydrogenated oils. As we discussed in our last segment, these are manufactured, they're man-made fats, where liquid oils like partially hydrogenated corn oil or partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil, these liquids at room temperature are turned into solids and then put into food to make them have a longer shelf life. Now, because people are avoiding partially hydrogenated oils, we're starting to see an influx of natural oils into the food chain that are actually not healthy. The big three that I ask our viewers to look for are cottonseed oil, palm oil, and coconut oil. So it turns out we don't eat cotton, right? We're not designed to do that. So why on earth would we eat cottonseed oil? And the cottonseed oil, again, is a solid at room temperature. What's the rule? In general, liquid oils at room temperature are healthier than solids at room temperature. We want to avoid solid oils like cottonseed oil. Palm oil, again, we don't eat the palms. That's not part of our diet. We're not designed to do that. Why would we put that into our food? And finally, when it comes to coconut, I would remind folks that when you drill a hole in a coconut, it's not the oil that comes out, that's the milk. The coconut oil is a highly processed food. They have to press hundreds of them, the meat, to get that solid oil, which again is not healthy. Maybe for the skin, use it for some skin purposes, but I don't recommend that you go out of your way to add coconut oil into your diet if you are trying to improve your LDL cholesterol. Even though it is not an animal fat, remember, we're animals, our liver gets confused by partially hydrogenated oils, and the more you're eating of those, the higher your LDL may rise. It's also just not healthy from a triglyceride standpoint or a weight care standpoint in general because there are so many calories. Better ways to prepare food, you can flash fry. I prefer a steamer where you can steam the food, and we'll be visiting about that a little bit more in future segments. Janessa, what are your ideas for cooking without oil?
I try, if I want to eat something that might have a little bit of oil, I might try towards my air fryer to prevent deep frying something. But
excellent.
I try to drain away from most of the oils that are created in different meats. Like I don't not eat ground beef, but I drain all the grease and oil from it. And if I wanted something that would be better off fried or something, I might put it in the air fryer to help reduce that.
Well, that's all our time today, folks. Again, I'm Dr. John Bender.
And I'm Janessa Visconti.
We will see you at the next episode of What's Up, Doc?